Can you hear the baby crying?
No, that's fine. Barely.
Okay. Okay.
Where's my? Oh, there we go.
Recording in progress.
Bam, and we're live.
Awesome.
Brandon, welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Glad to
Yeah,
be back.
and congrats. I know you've been working on it for a while, but you finally released your solo project or the first single off the solo project,
Yes, sir.
"Misery's End." How's it feel to have it finally out now? What, about 9 hours, give or take?
Man, it's after waiting for so long, like this first single's been done for months. So when it finally went live, it was just like a huge relief. And it feels really good, man. Everybody's had nothing but nice things to say so far. And that feels really good as well. But man, when I saw Misery's End pop up on Spotify for the first time, I almost cried. Just because it's one of those things like I always wanted to make music, but I never thought I would. I never thought I'd have the opportunity.
Mhm.
And then TJ just made it possible for me. And just to see that pop up there was just it was an incredible feeling. It was great.
So, and speaking of TJ, who's been on the show before,
Yep.
Tragedy, and he's also in For Fear Itself, whose
Yep.
hat you're rocking right now. For those of you
That's right.
watching live or on YouTube.
I wear this thing all the time, man. I love it.
So how did this all come about? We met back in Chicago. When was
Yep.
that? August?
uh, July or August. Yeah. I think it was July. I
Yeah, it must
think.
have been July.
Yeah. But so this actually stemmed from Chicago. Oh, actually on the way back from Chicago. So I was talking to Tim and we were just talking about music and I told him, I was like, man, I really would love to make some music one day. And he actually told me about TJ, and TJ is honestly one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. He hooked me up with TJ, and me and him got to talking. I told him what I wanted to do, and he's just made it happen since then. It's been awesome working with him. He's just an incredible person. He's literally done everything when it comes from writing the instrumentals. Well, I give him like ideas of what I want it to sound like, and then he writes the instrumentals. I go to his house. He does all the recording for the vocals, and he does all the mixing and mastering. He does everything. All I have to do is pay him.
Well, don't let my friends hear that. Justin, Ben hear that you paid him because they're going to come after me. I have a running tab with Justin, who he's been on the show before.
Okay.
Uh, and I have a running tab going with him, and I'm pretty sure if
Uh-huh.
I were to pay him in full right now, he could probably retire.
Oh wow.
We got a new person dropping in. Firm LSAT. Two. I'm gonna just stop butchering your name right now, but he's just wondering: is Misery's End a metal band? So where would you put? I know everybody likes to put bands and artists into their little genre categories. I
Yeah.
mean, where would you put Misery's End?
If I had to put it somewhere, I would probably place it in metalcore. But when it comes to this EP, every song is different, every single one. So the one that came out today, Vengeance, is probably the most metalcore song on the EP, and then we have one that's more like death metal ish. It has like death metal riffs, like really fast and everything. Then we have another one that's just straight deathcore, beat down, kind of like pale face, body snatcher sounding. And then one of the interludes is actually a lo-fi beat track. So it's just completely different than everything else. And then the intro is actually the intro is not done yet. We're just still bringing up ideas about it, but everything's different. But if I had to place it somewhere, I would put it in metalcore.
So, so I'm just curious. I mean, so you're saying, sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
Oh, you're fine.
You're on the way back from Chicago with Tim, which we're at the
Oh yeah,
meetup show for
we
the
were talking about
and
that. Yeah,
that fucking show. God, that was awesome.
dude. Dude. So Strangled actually just released. We're getting off topic again, but I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk about it anyway. Strangled just released the video today of the entire live set,
Oh,
and
sweet.
I went and watched that thing again. It was like I was there again, man. It was so great. I rode that high from that weekend for like a month straight.
Right.
It was so great. But anyway, so on the way back from Chicago, we were talking about that. He hooked me with TJ. I got with TJ, and we were doing all that. And he's just been a pleasure to work with, man. I literally give him like reference sounds of what I want a song to sound like, and he just hits the nail on the head every single time. Like if I knew how to play guitar, play drums, and everything, and mix it all together, he's making exactly what I would have made. He's doing an incredible job, and I really do appreciate him. Hopefully, he gets here soon.
And LSAT wants to know, is there a YouTube link, or do you have a YouTube channel set up for Misery's End?
Yep, I do. I can put it in the chat right now, actually.
And well, I'm just curious, what's your musical background? Or did you just decide, you know what, I want to do vocals today?
So back when I first started listening to metalcore, like deathcore ish, practiced vocals the wrong way. I wasn't doing it properly, but I practiced them for like a year or two on and off.
Hmm.
And that was like 2010 to 2012, somewhere in there. And then I didn't do anything at all. And when I talked to Tim about wanting to make music, I knew I couldn't play guitar. I can't play drums. I was like, well, I can try to get back on vocals again and practice it the correct way. And that's what I did. And I practiced for about it was about not even 2 months. I practiced and then we started making music. So I am in no means an expert vocalist at all, but but I think I'm doing okay for the amount of time I've been doing it. So
Well, and you certainly
it's
got
been
the right people around you between TJ and
absolutely.
Tim, and I saw
Yep.
Quinn's coming up on a track here
Dude,
at some point.
dude, yes. Oh my God. I wish I might have to send you a snippet of his feature later that he sent me. It is just, oh, it's going to be the highlight of the EP. I already know it. His feature is just going to, it's a last track too. And Quinn is literally going to be the last vocal part on the whole EP. And it's disgusting, man.
I don't know if you
It's
checked
so
out the
sick.
episode. I had him on the show, I think earlier this year,
Oh,
maybe
I
last
did
year.
not
I
know
can't
that.
remember. But yeah, this one of the he started popping up on TikTok, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's really talented. I started
Yeah.
following him, whatnot, and I just happenstance. I probably drinking that night. Asked him, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? He's like, yeah, sure. And then to find out that he's what, 21, 22.
Yeah, he's young, man.
Yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, he's honestly, I even put it on my Instagram yesterday. He is honestly probably my favorite vocalist of all time. And that's just how versatile he is and how many different things he can do and just perfect things so quickly. It's sickening how good he is. It is every time a new video pops up, I just know he's going to kill it, and he never ceases to impress me.
And LSAT makes a good point. He's saying that, this month and the next few months have been huge for rock and metal bands dropping new albums. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, you happen to drop the same week. We had Angel Maker. I saw ABR dropped a track earlier this week. A bunch
Knocked
of other bands
Loose,
dropped out. Yeah, Knocked Loose.
dude. Knocked Loose dropped EP of the year.
Left to Suffer just dropped DNR.
Yep. Yeah, I was in the premiere for that last night. That was sick. Like I know, I realized that I was like, dang, I am dropping this at the same time as so many big bands are making badass music. I'm like, fuck. But no, this is the funny thing though. I think you saw my post. I don't know if you did or not. So Angel Maker 2 days ago released a track called Vengeance.
Mhm.
August Burns Red yesterday released a track called Vengeance. I today released a track called Vengeance. And then there's another band, I can't remember what they're called, but they released an album today called Vengeance. That was just, I don't know how it happened. I actually messaged Mike from Angel Maker and I was like, dude, look at this. He was like, what in the world? How did that happen? That was just crazy. I was like, dang, everybody's gonna be typing in Vengeance and all these other big bands are gonna come up instead of me.
Ride the coattails of that hashtag Vengeance, and you'll
Yep.
be right.
Oh yeah. But no, everything's been really good. I think people are enjoying the single, so I'm really happy. But on the terms of all the badass music coming out right now, it's insane. And so when 2021 started, like the first few months in, music that was being released was insane, and I didn't think it'd get any better than that. And it's literally just been getting better every month, and it's incredible.
It'd be even better if these bands would start touring in my area. Keep
Yeah.
seeing all these shows down East Coast, west, down
Mhm.
south. It's
Mhm.
like, come to Minnesota, please, or I'll
Dude.
drive, to the southern end of Wisconsin. But
Mhm.
aside from, I just saw, who was it? Somebody just announced a show in the Twin Cities. Well, I know Chelsea Grin's coming to town.
Okay.
For us coming up here. Oh, Whitechapel just announced that they're coming to
Oh,
the neighborhood.
okay. Awesome. That'd be fun to see. Have you heard their new music that they've been putting out?
I haven't. I've been so busy. I'm
It's-
terrible at remembering to play music when I'm in the car because I'm usually listening to a podcast or
Mhm.
or audiobooks because the conversation just kind of keeps me awake because I'll have
Yeah.
I drive usually 200 miles a day.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I drive 2. That's insane. But yeah, Whitechapel's new music. It's not typically what would be my cup of tea, but something about it, I just like it. Their newest track, Orphan, it reminds me of like a 2000s rock band, like slow rock song. I can't put my finger on who they remind me of, but it's pretty good. I think you'll like it.
Chat saying it's the album of the year, so I'll have to check it out. I haven't listened. I kind of neglected them for a while, unfortunately. I went from not liking Whitechapel, thinking they're kind of a one-trick pony, and then I
Yeah.
saw them live, and I could
Oh,
not believe how clean Phil's vocals are, even in live. And I mean, it's a fun venue because they're real small. I mean,
yeah,
300 people tops,
yeah.
but it's literally a concrete box. And all the sound gets pushed into the back wall, and this thing
Mhm.
just sit there. So not the greatest, acoustics in the world,
Yeah,
but still a lot of fun.
yeah. And they still made it sound good, I'm sure,
Yeah,
because they're Whitechapel.
right,
There's a reason people call Phil the goat of deathcore vocals because
right.
he is.
But speaking of vocals, I mean, you said you just picked it up for a couple months before doing the track. I mean,
It was probably a little under 2 months that I was like steadily practicing every day.
so I mean,
So,
I'm a professional singer in my car
Mhm.
when I'm alone. And
of
after
course.
like two songs, my vocal cords are shot and fried.
Mhm.
But I also come from more of an instrumental background.
Yeah.
What are you doing just to keep yourself from, if you lose your voice, you're really up shit's creek there.
Well, you got to know when you've had enough, when your voice has had enough. You got to know when to stop. Because if you start practicing, first of all, doing vocals should never hurt. Obviously, any vocal coach will tell you that. And doing vocals should never hurt. But still, even after talking for a while, your voice starts to get tired. When you feel yourself getting tired, you got to stop, take a break. And usually, what I would do is I would practice heavily for a full day, and then I would take like a day off, and then practice for another full day and take a day off. And by what I mean by a full day is in my car, back and forth to work, and on lunch break. Because I can't do it in my house. I got all the kids and everything. When I'm home, they're sleeping. So
Right.
yeah, in my car was my main studio.
I mean, are you working on different techniques? I remember talking to Quinn. He's talking about we really hit heavy on the false chords, and then I've
Yeah.
seen him post about different, styles and techniques that you can use. Are you going down the research side of the house, or are you just kind of going what feels
So
natural to you?
I do what I know I can do at the moment. I'm not trying to really learn any new techniques or anything like that. I'm just going with what feels comfortable to me. And I really enjoy like the whole, super crazy gutturals and like zombie screams that Dickie Allen and stuff does. I like listening to it. I don't know if I have much of a want to learn it. I think what I have and sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as people are enjoying it, then I'm happy. But in terms of what I do, so I actually do fries and false chords. I cannot false chord high for some reason, so all of my highs are fries, and then all of my mids and lows are false chord. So I kind of got to switch back and forth. It's a good thing I never really plan on doing anything live because I think switching back and forth would be pretty difficult.
Right.
But I mean, if the chance came up, I don't know if it would, but if the chance came up and I could get a full band together, I would probably perform live. But
Mm.
I don't. It's not in the plan at all. But I would love to like do guest vocals or something on stage one day. That'd be fun, kind of like Tim did at Victims.
Right.
That would be cool.
Awesome.
Dude.
I was hanging out closer to the back, but I came up when Victims came on show because I'm a big guy. And shout out to Chud for jumping in the chat.
Oh, that's my buddy Daniel. Hell yeah. What's up, dude?
And I'm
Sorry to interrupt my best friend Daniel before he yells at me for not saying that.
But I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, and
Yeah.
I'm normally in the mosh pit, but I've been dealing with some hip and back issues.
Dude, we're
last
getting
couple
old.
years. Right? Yeah. Don't get over 30 if this goes downhill from there.
I'm already 30.
Right.
Well, close enough. I'm 29. Close enough.
I thought about jumping in the pit for not Strangled. Was it Strangled? No, the band that just posted their live set.
Yeah, strangled. Yeah.
Yeah, Strangled. Until I saw one of the singers pick somebody out of the mosh pit and throw
Yeah.
them to the other corner of the mosh pit. It's like, I'm doing okay. I'll just be back here.
Yeah. I mean, the show is just as good back there, so
Right.
it's all good. I didn't go into the pit too much for Strangled. I did maybe 2 or 3 times. I mostly was just like kind of on the edge, just like watching everybody get killed. But I mean, there's a few songs like Torah. I had to go in the pit. Sleep. I had to go into the pit. But other than that, I didn't really go in too much. I was in there a lot for Victims.
Yeah,
But
I,
yeah,
I happened to get up there just before Tim jumped up on stage, and I said,
yeah.
"Oh, cool! They got somebody for today. Holy shit, it's Tim!"
Yeah, dude, he killed it. He did such a good job. I don't know when Victims plans on releasing their recorded show because they recorded the whole thing too,
Sure.
and they haven't said anything about it since it happened. So I'm curious as to when they're going to release theirs.
I wonder if they're gonna edit out that last song they did, since that was completely improv.
Oh yeah,
I
that
think they killed it, but
yeah for not practicing it, they did a really good job.
right,
Really, I mean, you could tell there was little timing issues here and there, but that's
yeah,
expected when you haven't practiced anything.
right,
I think they did pretty good. So then again, you can't really say no when the whole crowd is asking for one more song.
right.
I didn't expect them to play a new song. I thought they would have played an older song that they had played before, just
Right.
so it was like perfect. But I give them props for playing a brand new song they never practiced.
Yeah, no shit. No, I can't imagine getting up on stage in front of a crowd like that. I mean, I'll officiate a wedding every now and then, and
Yeah,
that's rough
yeah,
enough. But doing that, holy shit, it was fun. And I mean, it was cool to see. Well, I think for probably 90% of the people there, it was the first show in damn near a year and a half.
oh yeah, year and a half, 2 years, something like that. Yeah,
And from the beginning of the show, where you can kind of tell the crowd's like, "All right, cool, we're getting back into this," and then by the end, I mean, it's just full send.
oh
Back to
dude.
normal, how it should be.
You know what's funny? So I knew Strangled was going to be crazy, but I thought everybody was going to be tired out after that. Oh, dude, it was still just as crazy for Victims. I was expecting it to calm down a little bit, and I was completely wrong. See what I said though? My buddy Daniel, he said, "You're lucky you corrected yourself."
Right? And LSAT wants to know if either of us have heard of a band called Capra. I'll admit I have not.
I haven't either. Mm-mm.
No, but LSAT,
Well,
drop a name of the track song that we should listen to in there. We'll check it out
yeah,
sometime.
definitely. I'll check it out. Hell yeah.
I do it live, but I don't want to get upset with the Twitch gods.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
shadow
that's
band.
no, definitely don't want to do that.
Right. But to bring it back, since we're going down rabbit holes here,
Yeah, we're good at that.
yeah. Explain the fry versus false chord, and you're talking about the highs and low difference there for you.
So
Water
for
that down
me,
as possible, as much as possible.
so like I was saying, I haven't been doing vocals long enough to know how to do everything. So with false chords, that's all false chords was all I practiced like 10 years ago. Even though I was doing it incorrectly, it was still technically what I was doing. And I just cannot hit highs false chord. I just can't. It sounds like crap, and I just don't do it. But false chords typically, for me personally, are a lot louder than my.
Well, hey, can you guys hear us now? Do we have audio back? Hey, TJ's here. We lost audio in the chat there for a second, but should be back. There we go. Hey, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what got bumped there. Yep, you're good. You're there. Good. Brandon was just telling us about how it's all your fault that the track took 2 months to get out and released. No, he had nothing but good things to say. And TJ, last time you were on the show, I mean, we talked about that how not a busy schedule that you have between you're doing For Fear Itself, you have Tragedy, you're producing music, and now you're throwing Brandon into the mix too. When the hell do you sleep, man?
Like when something gets presented to me, I have a horrible time saying no. And I don't mind doing it at all because, I love doing it. I love doing what I do. I love helping people out as much as I can. And like, I've had, like I said, a blast working on this project with Brandon, in all honesty. Like him coming to me with these ideas and like throwing them my way and stuff. Like I've been having a fucking blast. Like it's been fun, nothing but fun.
So I'm just curious. So Brandon, I'm assuming Tim told you to give TJ a call.
Absolutely.
So when you guys were putting this together, Brandon, I mean, did you have lyrics kind of put together or an idea that you wanted to go to and just?
I had a plot that I wanted the EP to be about. Like I had an idea of what I wanted it to be about, but I didn't have any lyrics written whatsoever. So all the lyrics have been actually, he would write the instrumental first, and then I would write the lyrics on top of it. It was just easier for me to do it that way. But no, other than having an idea what I wanted the songs and the EP to be about, I didn't have anything written at all.
And TJ, were you performing? Because I was listening to the track today. I mean, it's not a simple track, or were you just taking samples of stuff, or?
Oh no, that's all me, 110%. Completely
Jesus
my
Christ.
writing, completely my raw recordings of everything, my guitar tones, everything, you name it.
Dude, it sounds to both of you. It sounds badass. And
I told you he's the most talented person I know.
I appreciate that.
And
Absolutely.
Apologies to everyone in the chat. They lost audio there for a sec, but it seems to be working again on my end. I don't know what's going
cool.
on, but we're good to go now. So, moving forward now, TJ, I mean, are you going to continue working with Brandon on the rest of the EP? Is that what you're working on now, or?
Yes, absolutely. Currently, we actually are working on wrapping up the production and everything on the third, full song that is a part of everything, as well as I still have to work out, like I was saying before, an intro and an interlude song as well, which kind of what Brandon was saying he wanted to go for was to have everything like move together. And each song has its own flair. Each song's a little bit different, like they all are like within a similar subgenre, but they all branch off into their own inspiration. Which that's what I feel like is going to be interesting, even with this intro and interlude song, is that we're going a completely different direction than any of the other songs with the intro and interlude song for it.
And I'm just curious, TJ, from your side of the house, Brandon comes to you and he was mentioning that he said, I kind of like this sound to it. I mean, how did you take it from there? I mean, how much conversation was there? And Brandon, how much artistic liberty did you leave for him?
I cannot even lie. A lot of what I've had to do as far as bouncing the ideas back and forth for these instrumentals was having Brandon send me direct reference songs that, he felt as if were like kind of the feeling of what he wanted. And I took not exactly the exact like go around of the song, I guess is a good way to put it, but I made the vibe similar, like, the feeling that it would give you, I guess is a good way to put it, when you're listening to the song compared to the song he's sending as references.
Yeah,
like I'm not even gonna lie. This first song that dropped, what was it? It was that Sleepwaker song that like heavily influenced that final breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Like Brandon had sent me this one Sleepwaker song and was like, "This one, dude," and I was like, "Hold on," like the original breakdown for the end of the song sounds nothing like the one that's there currently.
Oh yeah, no, it was completely different. The first version of what he wrote, that's the only time that we
Yeah.
ever had to really change anything. Was the very first version of the first song that he wrote sounds nothing like the version now.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's a lot more bland, straight chugs and stuff. Whereas obviously the version that was released, it's got all the crazy like pitch shifting stuff going on and like weird effects and stuff. Like it was fun.
Oh yeah. So touching on what he said, basically what I would do is I would send like 3 or 4 songs from different bands and just said, I like what these bands are doing. I like the sound. I like the way it makes you feel. If you could just take kind of like inspiration from these tracks and make it to your own thing, I'm good with that. So yeah.
So you mentioned
And
that.
honestly, the influences have been very broad. Like 1 minute it's one sound, and then 1 minute it's a completely different sound, and then I'm like, okay, so like basically you want me to take like this element of this sound and this element of this sound, and like that's how a lot of it's been created. In all honesty.
Oh yeah, and I'm really curious to see how people respond when the whole EP comes out because, like we've said multiple times now, every single song is different.
Yeah.
And one of the tracks is going to be the interlude. Actually, I can go ahead and say that the interlude is good. No one's going to be expecting what that sounds
Not at all. The ideas that we've bounced back and forth so far for like the interlude and intro ideas are just like so far off from the rest of the album that I am going to have to put some serious work into thinking about like instead of using electronic sounds, I'm going to be replacing a lot of those sounds with actual instruments, guitars, and things like that to kind of, like give it the same feeling as the rest of the album because the rest of the album is like straight up like raw. It's very, like guitar, bass, drum oriented, and the vocals are very focused.
So not to try to compare you to another band out there, but I think the band in my mind that's most famous for doing that with intro interlude songs would be Slipknot, where seems like something completely off the wall, which I'm willing to bet is coming out from Clown because he's awesome. He's nuts, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that where you're kind of going with it? Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to compare you to Slipknot.
Kind of, yes, because like it's all in that flowing motion type deal, like how they do it. Exactly. Everything is going to be to where like if you're listening to it in line, like if you listen from start to finish, it's gonna feel as if it should all go together the way it should, rather than like feeling as if this song could be placed here, this song could be placed here.
Mm-hmm.
Like no, it should be placed the way it's placed. Exactly.
And as you mentioned, Brandon, it's available everywhere for download and streaming. Are any plans
Everywhere.
on doing any hard copies like vinyl? I know vinyl's been making a big push back.
It really depends on how the response is once the full EP comes out. I don't want to spend too much money getting different things made and the response not be, a lot of people listening to it. So, like I've said before on social media, I'm doing this completely for myself and just so I can look back in the future and be like, yeah, I made that. and plus the theme and the plot of this whole EP just means so much to me. It's just, to be honest, I don't really care if people like it or not. I like it. If people like it, that's just a bonus.
Right. Yeah. That's where I'm sitting at with the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like people actually listen to this. Holy shit. I know you did a post on
I
it.
definitely feel it.
Right. I know you did a post the other day on kind of the inspiration behind the name Misery's End and everything. Do you mind just kind of touching base on that as broad or narrow as you want to go on that?
Sure. Well, actually, the post was more about the song that just released, but I mean, the whole EP is still the same thing. So the EP is called Stages of Grief, and basically, it's just a whirlpool of emotions of my mental struggles with losing my son 3 years ago, and especially the song that released today is heavily about that. It's basically the song's about my anger towards, I got to do quotations, God. It's because I'm not religious by any means, but before all that happened, I don't want to say I was completely atheist or didn't believe in God or anything, but I mean, I was on the fence about whether I did or not. And then as soon as that happened, I'm like, how the fuck could any entity that's all good make someone go through this. And then I realized shortly after it happened, like people go through this every single day, every day. And so, yeah, the song's pretty much about my anger towards God. And like it says in the song, eyes bulging from strangulation. Like I literally picture myself like strangling God. I know that's like completely out of the realm of ever possibly happening, but that's pretty much what I'm envisioning in that part of the song. Just anger. But that's pretty much what the whole EP is about. It's just my journey, and because I'm still going through it now. Obviously, you never get over something like that, but that's pretty much what the whole EP is about. Just all the different emotions and everything, and feelings, mental struggles, stuff like that.
And does it feel, I want to say therapeutic, cathartic at all? I mean, putting what you've gone through into words and into an actual thing, if you will.
It has been probably one of the biggest things of my healing process in the last 3 years. Seriously, it's impacted me in a positive way more than anything else in the last 3 years. So definitely getting it off my chest is awesome.
I remember seeing an interview on some major news media corporation, but they're at a metal festival, and typical newscaster dressed up, suit and tie on the side of the stage, and they're asking, I can't remember who this got off stage. They're like, well, why is your music so angry? And he goes, well, we put all that anger and hatred up in the music and on stage, and we let it go, and we come off there, and we're the happiest people you ever meet.
Yep, exactly, man, exactly. That's how it is.
So
no, honestly, I will say too that I've actually had a better time helping with the project because of like I've been through a lot of things in my life, to say the least. And like I can definitely understand wanting to put your emotion into art in a way that you can't by yourself, or that you may need help with. And I'm actually extremely honored that Brandon would choose me, to be a part of this project for that exact reason. You know what I mean? Like, I know how personal this type of stuff can be. And, being that most of the music I write tends to be about real events that I've gone through or seen the people around me go through, like, I appreciate it on a different level, especially than honestly, a good portion of a lot of artists I have worked with. Because, working within the rap industry and the metal industry, you run into some not super genuine people sometimes, and it's just how it is.
What? No, never. Non-genuine people in the music industry? But TJ, and I was asking Brandon, how does it feel to have, this project you've been working on for the last few months finally had that first song out, and about a little over 9 hours now.
Oh, dude, I'm hyped about it. I'm really hyped about it. Literally, I've already streamed the song quite a few times. I actually shared it in a couple of the groups that I'm in on Facebook and stuff. Things like that. I'm definitely hype about it. I'm glad to, finally be putting more out, honestly, with someone. And on top of that, I haven't gotten to really release much heavy stuff in quite a while. Other than, the stuff with FFI, obviously. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool to get back in the motion of heavy things with my name on them being put out again.
It should give you guys a shout out. I saw you guys got a song coming out here soon. I can't remember the date now.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We've got Anthem coming out shortly. Anthem will be at the end of this month. And then we have some announcements that we're going to be making pretty shortly as well that I feel like everybody will be pretty hype about.
Touring in Minnesota, cough, cough, hack, hack.
That'd be sick.
No.
No.
I said you never know.
Maybe. Never know.
Never.
Oh, I thought you just straight up said no.
I was gonna say, well,
we've
that's
been getting
it.
hit up about shows pretty regularly lately.
But I'm just curious for you.
Store.
No, I was just curious about for you. I mean, you're Brandon. He's become kind of the face of Misery's End and this awesome brand Breakdown Therapy.
Yes.
With these sweatshirts. But I mean, for you to see, you're working on this thing probably just as hard as Brandon is to see this thing go out into the wild, if you will, of the internet. I mean, relief, anxiety, excitement.
Excitement.
Honestly, a little bit of everything. Honestly, a bit of everything. Because I'm excited to see what people are gonna say about it. Obviously, it always has an anxiety factor to it because like you never know whether the reactions are going to be positive or negative. Literally, we were actually on a call the other night, literally talking about exactly that.
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
during FFI practice the other night, we gave Brandon a shout and talked for a little bit, and we were talking about literally exactly that. The anxiety of like the negative to positive
Yeah.
and everything is like reactions go.
Like, what if we release this and everybody fucking hates it?
Right.
like I said, I made it for me, but at the same time, if like everybody hated it, I'd be like, damn, that sucks. Like, damn.
Right, like shit, bro. We really fucking worked on this. Like,
I know, right? Worked on it hard, spent a lot of money on it. I'm like, dang, man.
Yeah, you haven't had the Christian groups come after you quite yet, have you?
No, not yet. Like I was saying
it'll
earlier,
happen.
I haven't checked since we've been on here, obviously, but I literally haven't had anybody say anything negative on any social media platforms, which is awesome. So I'm definitely stoked about that.
I was gonna also ask, TJ, did Brandon ever call you midway through you're working on a track or midway through the project and go like, what, scrap that idea that I just sent you 2 days ago. I want to do it this way.
Yes. Yes, actually. With the last 2 songs that have been written, yes. That's one of the reasons why I honestly I started to hold off on writing them immediately. The 3rd song he had sent me inspirations for 2 different times.
Yep.
2 completely different sets of bands, 2 completely different everything. And I was like, this is fine. It's perfectly fucking fine. But I actually ended up writing that song literally the day before he had come up here to record vocals on the 2nd song and surprised him with it. And he was like, okay, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
It was literally perfect.
And
I'm not gonna lie, the 3rd one is definitely really cool. It is heavy.
If I
absolutely is so heavy.
If I had to guess, I think the last track is going to be the highlight of the EP. I think that's the one that people are going to like the most.
Are you gonna continue?
Yeah, I wouldn't
doing
be shocked. And it's literally just because of the breakdowns and the slams, bro. It's heavy.
and Quinn's on it, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that.
Yep.
Are you gonna be doing a slow release with each song and then do the EP at the very end, or?
So I'm going to release one more single, which is the 3rd track on the EP, and then after that, I'm going to release the whole EP. I don't want to release too much, so yeah, we're doing one more. I haven't officially announced it yet, but it's actually already set as a premiere on YouTube. It's November 12th, I believe.
Awesome.
Yeah. November 12th. So I probably won't officially announce it for probably another week, but for anybody who goes looking, they'll see it.
And another question from the chat talking about reaching out to, I'm assuming they're radio hosts, but just in general, I've obviously been curious about this. How do you get, as an artist, how do you get your music onto a radio station? Do you have to reach out to
radio station? Yeah, I have no idea.
I've kind of forgot about radio stations because I got sick and tired of our local quote unquote rock radio. They're a far cry from being rock than what they used to be, but it's neither here nor there.
TJ probably knows. I have no idea.
Sadly, it is hard. I will say that. Typically, it takes, having somebody that is in close relation to people that are with submissions and things like that, and it takes them playing it on the right night, especially as a smaller project. When it comes to the radio in general, obviously, radio stations are very, very picky. And like you just said, most local radio stations, especially, they're on the fence. You gotta
be on top charts for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you're number 1 charting on the billboards, absolutely they'll play your stuff. A few months ago, I heard Motionless in White on our more local rock radio, and I was so mind blown by that because I'm like, dude, Motionless in White's heavy. They play in drop A, primarily breakdowns. Motionless in White's always been heavy. So it kind of shocked me, hearing something that level of heavy being played on a rock radio station.
Yeah, the station that I grew up with, they got bought by a big national company or international maybe, and they stopped playing. Well, now, like you're saying, top 40, and well, when Sound of Darkness came out, Disturbed's cover, I would hear that 40 times in a day, and it's like, please,
Oh, yeah.
please, for the love of God, stop.
Oh
But
yeah,
then-
that's radio for me.
and then they kind of realized that they alienated a good chunk of their listeners, and they created this late night. I think is that like 11 o'clock or midnight. They do the Pit, where they'd play actual rock and metal
Oh,
music and stuff like that.
nice.
So I mean, was that an easier route, TJ, to get into something like that? You know, the specialty show, if you will.
Especially like exactly, you can get in contact with the people who run submissions for the specific station, and and like keep in contact, sending your music, making sure you have the proper press packages and everything set up and all of that to be able to send them. Like you have a way higher chance of radio play, even being a smaller artist, because like we all just said, literally, like radio stations play the same few songs on repeat all the time. You know what I mean? Like there are very few stations in today's world that like you're in the car and you flip to the station and like they're playing a mix of a little bit of everything from all years and all like all over the place. It's unusual to see anything like that. You're only ever going to see like what's extremely popular at that time, and then especially with rock radio stations, a lot of stuff from like the 70s and 80s and whatnot that's still popular. You know what I mean? Like people are still listening to Led Zeppelin on the radio.
Metallica.
You know
on
what I
repeat.
mean? Or like things like that. Exactly. Like, but yeah, like it's sad to say that like it's all within just having the right, eye-catching material to push toward people that are involved with submissions. Kind of like how Brandon's been utilizing, as well as we in FFI and me as a solo artist as well have all been utilizing this one service called Submit Hub, where it's not really to radio stations, but we're submitting our music to curators and influencers, and you can even do record label submissions through Submit Hub as well. And it's all credit based. You buy credits from the website. They're like $1 a piece or so, and you can get deals on them as you buy more. And like it's actually really cool. Like stuff like that, I feel like is literally more useful than radio submissions in today's world, especially because like let's be honest, where do most people discover music nowadays? The radio or Spotify?
Right.
Spotify, definitely.
Like
Absolutely.
straight up, you know what I mean? You have a way higher and better chance of getting on a Spotify playlist than you do on the radio, and that Spotify playlist is going to do you 1,000 times more justice than any radio station in the entire world will.
That's what I did earlier. I submitted the song to like 20 different people on Submit Hub, and basically what they've done so far is I've had two add the song to their playlist, like big playlists, like 10,000 followers or more playlist. And they all usually give like feedback on what they think of the song and whatnot, and everything's been working really well so far. It's not expensive at all. Like you said, it's like $1 a credit, and there are some bigger curators that are like 2 or 3 credits, but it's really not bad. It's a super
Literally,
easy
I
to get
spent
on playlists.
$27 on 30 credits earlier.
Yeah.
Like $27 on 30 credits, and I submitted to a bunch of people with that.
Yeah, and that's potentially 27 people to submit it to. So 27 people to add your song to a playlist. That sounds good to me.
Exactly. Like, and it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm actually awaiting a response from a playlist that has over just under 500,000 followers on it.
Jesus.
So like, that's a large playlist. We'll see what happens. It all just depends. You got to have the right eye-catching material, like we were saying before. Like, definitely.
So Submit Hub, it sounds like it's more of a business side for people in the industry versus like SoundCloud. It's free, but you kind of have to hope people kind of walk into your stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Exactly.
Submit Hub probably isn't a way to make a lot of money, but I'm sure it's definitely some good extra money. I'm sure, because I mean, you get people,
And it's
releasing
definitely a
music
way
every
to
day.
get streams and stuff from the artist's perspective. Absolutely.
And I suppose that's what everybody's now going for. I mean, it seemed like back in the day, it was all about the record sales and ticket stubs that you sold, and now it's moving into the streaming world.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of bands that use it. I was scrolling through earlier to see like the recent submissions to some of these curators, and one of them was Engrossed, which is a new band. I don't remember where they're from, but it's a new metalcore band. And then I saw Salt Wound, which is a California local band, which kicks ass. So it was cool to see them on there. So yeah, there's a lot of bands that use it because it works.
Yeah, as well as another plus side is like Brandon just said as well, you can actually see like people who have submitted to that curator and listen to the music that they've submitted. So in turn, you can also find artists on Submit Hub that you enjoy as well.
So you're not just going around submitting to random people on the blind, because you could, here's somebody that really listens to their top 40 pop songs. Probably shouldn't put it over there.
Yeah,
It
no,
might
yeah,
work,
they
but-
all they all have listed they all have listed the genres of music that they like.
Sure.
So you can like genre select and just go through those people and submit them.
So I'm just curious, what's next and when for you, Brandon? Aside, you got the next song coming out. You got the
Yep.
EP more or less finished.
Yep, the EP, if all goes to plan, should be out before the end of the year, which would be really nice. That's what we're aiming for. And I really don't see TJ why we wouldn't be able to do that. That's pretty
No.
obtainable, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. We
Yeah.
literally were talking about it when the project first started, and I even said like absolutely attainable. Literally, the only things I currently have on the list to finish off are this intro and interlude song, which will not take me a ton of effort. Like they will obviously because it's still gonna be, consuming, but nonetheless, it's one of those things where it's like it's not gonna take me like days or months to finish something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it shouldn't be too bad. It definitely, honestly, I could say by the end of the year should be finished.
And we got to do vocals for the last song still.
Yes,
I hear that.
yes,
helps.
we do.
Yeah, and the only thing that's honestly, it would have probably all be done by now if me and him lived closer. But I'm literally having to drive out of state to his house to record vocals and stuff because I don't have any equipment. And with me moving soon, I didn't want to buy anything with me moving soon. So yeah, I've been driving to Maryland. It's only like 3.5 hours, so it's not that bad.
That's
I would
not
just
bad.
drive up there, record. We'd hang out for a couple hours, record the vocals, hang out for a couple more hours, and then I just drive back. That's not too bad. But we could
Yep, this time
probably.
we got Chick-fil-A, chill.
Oh yeah, definitely got to get the Chick-fil-A. But I mean, if we lived within like an hour of each other, we'd probably be done by now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like definitely, if we lived closer, it'd definitely be done because I would have had Brandon literally at my house physically while I wrote everything, and I would have gotten it done even faster than I did already.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about going through something like TJ is you don't have to wait months and months and months for like big like producers and stuff to get all your stuff done. Like you wrote the last track in what like 45 minutes or something like that.
Literally, yeah. The base of it was done in about like 40-45 minutes, and it took probably a total of an hour and a half to get it like where I had it.
And it's literally, other than vocals right now, it's a full song.
Yeah,
Like,
all I have to do is final track everything, which
Yeah.
won't take me any effort. The song's already written, so
Yeah.
I know how to play it.
Another reason why he's the most talented person I know. Who do you know that can write a song that fast and it sound like a full song? It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me feel lazy now because it took about a year, a little over a year. Yeah, over a year for me from conception of the idea of doing a podcast to actually getting an episode out on air, and it was a bit of a slow burn there. And so you talk
See,
about
funny enough.
Yeah.
Talking about speed and consistency, literally, like within writing all of this stuff for Brandon, I have not been lacking on writing solo music either. I actually have a ton of stuff backed up currently that I'm working on releasing. I just released a new single, like last month.
Which kicks ass.
Like this next release that I have coming up, I'm actually going to be having Brandon help me push it a bit because I feel like the metal crowd might be with it a little bit, and to give a change of pace on his stuff as well. And it's like it's very dark. It's good. It's very dark, catchy. But like between that stuff and then I've also been like really consistently writing for FFI too. We currently have I think it's like 4 or 5 demos done for this next project that we're working on, as well as I actually wrote us a little thing that's going to be getting dropped with the EP as well, that everybody will be hype about, I'm sure.
Nice.
Brandon's heard it.
I'm
He
hype
knows
about it.
what I'm talking about.
I'm hype about it for sure.
But just for people that don't know TJ, so you're in For Fear Itself, and then your rap R&B is Tragedy, which get that spelling out.
Tragedy. J. Yep.
It's TR.
Trajedy.
Yes. I had a hell of a time finding you after the first time we talked.
No, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of stumps everybody because it always tries to autocorrect it to the G,
Hmm.
and as soon as it does that, it won't come up right. But
Right.
if you type it with the J and it gets searched with the J, I come right up, no problem.
But Brandon, now that you more or less have this all but wrapped up, I mean, do you see yourself doing more music down the road, do a full release album, or?
I would definitely like to. There's no plans in the immediate future to do so unless the EP comes out and everybody's like, it just blows up. Then I would think about something sooner, but I would like to. It would probably be like another year before I like did anything else. But yeah, I would definitely like to. It really depends on the response when the EP comes out.
Or maybe put
If,
together a
if
full
people
band.
want more, I'll do more. So yeah,
Well, awesome. I appreciate. We're getting pretty close here to the hour mark, so I'll let you guys go.
cool.
I know it's late on a Friday night, and I'm sure you guys have better things to do than sit on Zoom with me. So
Play video games.
right.
All I gotta do is eat some food. I'm about to make me a homemade one of those like KFC famous bowls.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
But one last
Oh,
time.
Homemade mashed potatoes.
But one last time, Brandon, where can people find you on social media and find the music and everything?
You can find me on TikTok at Brandon AMB Reacts. You can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, Heavy Music Vault. It's a private group, so you just got to ask to join. And then other than that, you can find my project Misery's End everywhere: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere.
And
So, yeah.
TJ, I'll let you give you a shout out too. Where can they find Tragedy and For Fear Itself?
So we as well are on all platforms. Like I said, Tragedy with a J, Trajedy. I actually have separated music from my Spotify and iTunes compared to SoundCloud with the Tragedy stuff, as well as and yeah, we got stuff coming out soon as well, as was stated. With Antrim coming out towards the end of the month.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate guys for taking the time to do this, and if you guys want to hang out for just a sec, we'll talk about some logistics. But thank you everyone for tuning in this week, and thanks for jumping in the chat. We will catch you next time.
Awesome.